stream is not financial advice. It is for educational purposes only, and the live stream is not intended to copy my trades. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Tommy, Daniel, Fernando, JJ, Ezra. Hope you all are doing good. Running a little bit behind here this morning, but all good. See what's going on this morning. There's no news today, so immediately, morning Vegas, immediately, I'm noticing on the 50 tick here, we're in a 4-bar chop, 5th bar actually. So we just had a little bit of a rundown here from, looks like about 5 a.m.-ish, 5 to 6 a.m., a little rundown since then, just been in this little 4-bar chop, 5-bar now. So let's see where it goes from here. 30 tick chart. Have a couple clusters. We got some spread out OP right up here. A couple mini magnets down here. A couple clusters in between. So yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit and see if we can get some movement here. Simplicity's going short. Not a lot of room there. Gonna wait and see if we get a little bit of a breakout or a move. Nice, Vegas, you got it. One funded account yesterday. Awesome. Congrats. I know that's got to feel good. Let me check for earnings, if there's any earnings today. I bet, Vegas. I've had that happen before where you're just a few dollars away from getting funded, and it's like, you know, what do I do? Because you have a few options at that point. You can take a regular trade that you normally take, but micros, like one micro. And if it wins, it gets you there. If it loses, at least you're not too far behind. And then you could just take a regular trade with a mini and get there. Or you take a trade with a mini and just set like a 2-tick profit. But then if it loses, then you're like, crap. So yeah, sometimes when you're that close, sometimes it's like, you know, like, what do I do? Morning, Jim. Morning, SS, Jean. So you went the micro route. Yeah, that's probably safest, or is. That way, if you do take the loss, then it's very minimal. Morning, Preet. All right, let's have a look at this earnings calendar real quick while we're waiting to see if this market can get out of this area. It's the news calendar, nothing there. Today is the 19th, so we have basically IBM at 4:05, 8 a.m. Well, we just had that. Travelers. And then Tesla's this afternoon. So, no earnings during this session that we need to be aware of. Yep. And I don't know if you watched what I like to do is I like to trade half of the contract amount when I go to funded. So if I only trade one contract in my eval, I'm going to 5 micros funded. But 50K accounts, like, I do two contracts when I'm in eval and then go to 1 when I'm funded. But yeah, hold that funded account. Okay. Let's see if we get a break short below. I'm really looking right now below this Paul because we have the dev here. So if we can get a break below this Paul, maybe flux area, and then a pull back to this little bottom area, that's an LRE I'd be looking for. Oh, let me make sure I have the right ATM here. There we go. Because we have a little bit of we have some room in here. See, there's 5 points from here to, we got nice 5 points there. So if this can kind of make its way down and then pull back in this area, then I should be able to get my 25 ticks in there. Then we have, no, it's a 10 tick. So the only thing holding it up right now was going to say this cluster. Then we have this cluster at 75, about 75, 50, 76. So if it could start breaking below a little bit and then pull back up in here, I will be going short. Most likely. Keep in mind on these pullbacks, if it starts chopping or laying too much OP on its way back up, then I am not too interested. We won't have a breakout bar on the 50 tick until it almost reaches the dev. Breakout bar is at 69. Actually, that's the dev. Yeah, the breakout bar would close if it hits the dev. So not too concerned on a breakout bar at the moment. Got double clusters on this 10. You can see that's why I want it to really run down a little more down in this area first and then pull back. You see, it's testing the bottom again, but it didn't go far enough for me to prove that it's going to get away from this little zone. And we've got this little setup going on here that I don't want to go against. Also on the 30, we have this Paul potential right there too. So there's just no orders at that line, at that price level. So we need some orders to come in. You can see it right here. Right there, 77.25. We just ran out of orders to keep going. So, you know, I wouldn't have wanted to try to come back to that. And as you can see, that would not have worked out. Got a little crossover here. But now, I mean, since we got a reset, we might get a short underneath this. And I would take a short down. Simplicity short, I mean. And then if that does happen, where I get a short underneath there, simplicity short, then I would tighten up once it gets near the dev. Because I'm not expecting it just to run. It could, but not gonna expect it. Because on the 30, we do have those double mini magnets down there, 0.60. So if it does pass the dev, it could run down to 0.60, but it's not something I'm gonna bank on. Tighten up, and if it does, great. If not, then I'll get out. That's even if this goes down. It's very well could just come right back up into this zone and keep chopping. Or keep going sideways. Not getting any signal at the moment that it's gonna go short or continue short. So and what I mean by that is on the 30 tick. It's not giving me any indication that it will push through. We have this little Xbox. If this had a mini magnet laying right here on this bar to push down, then I'd say, yeah, okay. But it doesn't. So but I still will, if we get a simplicity short underneath this, I'll still probably hop in it. Morning, David. Would not be surprised if a cluster popped up on the 30. Somewhere in this area where we are. So we're getting some orders being built up. Right at about like 0.8025. I'm not interested in anything long right now. Because of all this right here. So wouldn't be interested in to take a long until, I mean, it'd have to, really the only area I'd be interested in a long is if it breaks above this, like 094, 095 area, head it up, and then take a long pullback up to this area. But if it doesn't give anything in this little zone here, then I'd have to wait for it to really run up. So that's why I'd prefer it not to go long. All right, might get a simplicity short. Let's see. See if it happens. Really need it under this flux level. Because right above it, that 77.25 is that Paul that there's no orders at. So if it can get below the flux, that means some orders will come in. It's almost there. There we go. We got some orders in there. Now let's see if it's going to run away without me or not, because it hasn't given an entry. Got 26% ODD on the 10 tick. See if it gives an entry. See, now the entry is too close to the dev for me. So I'd wait for the LRE. Because see, here we are. If it gave an entry, it would be down here like a 72.25, 72 area. That only gives me a couple points. So not taking this simplicity entry. If it gives one, well, yeah, it gave one now. I will wait for the LRE if it gives one. Yeah, Jean. And you know, listening to Mark Douglas helped me connect that. Because there was one time I listened to something he said that, I don't remember the exact words, but it was something to the nature of, because he talks about how the only thing that moves the market is an imbalance of orders. That's literally what moves the market, is an imbalance of orders. Because if everybody thought the same thing, it would not move. It'd just be at that price, right? So he's like, so once it gets to a certain level or a certain area and it comes back down, that means there was just no orders at that level for it to keep going. So it came back down because there was the imbalance. So just him, the way he mentioned it and made that make sense, I was like, oh, okay. A Paul is literally an area of weakness. So then when I started really paying attention to this, I'm like, oh, that's a big drop off with, little to zero orders. But when a Paul stays, it'll have zero orders. So I'm like, okay, so that's a point that it could, unless if, we never know when a rush of orders comes in. But at that moment, there's no orders, so I can't expect it to keep going. Yeah, unknown trader, basically. So, okay, you sleeping yet? You're dozing off? All right, here we go. Yeah, and then, the more I listened to Mark Douglas, the more I fell in love with Apex Sniper System, because it's all based on orders, order flow, order prints, and Mark Douglas just always talks about how, that's how the market works, is based on the imbalance of orders. So that's why Apex, you never have to change the strategy. It works. Obviously market conditions change. You have to decide when to take the trade, but this is not a system that will run out and, the strategy not work anymore because it's based on orders. It's not moving averages and things like that. So now, yeah, exactly, Sean. That's what when I got into trading futures, I mean, with Apex, that's when my introduction to futures, and I couldn't find crap out there for you could find everything on stocks and forex, and then when I saw Mark Douglas talk about futures, of course, I didn't realize he was going to be the goat of like discipline and all that psychology, but then he talked about only futures. I was like, oh man, this is just so relatable. All right, so this is, it's not a trade I'm taking, but because we made the move right to the dev where it's expected. But then if you look at the 30 tick chart, 1 second, somebody's at my door. See what's going on. All right. My wife and Harry Amazon deliveries. Yeah, my dog lets me know for sure. And stays in my office. Both my dogs, they stay in my office. And it's a good thing, he's not going to hurt anybody. He's like 10 pounds, but he'll let me know if somebody's here. Hey, Johnny, good morning. Oh, so anyways, I was showing this 30 tick because we're right at the bottom. So that's why I wouldn't have even considered that LRE, because it technically was an LRE. But look at we're just at the bottom now. 50 tick, right at the bottom, deviation. So do I trust it's going to pull back a little bit and then come back down? It might, but do I trust that? Do I want to take a trade with that? Theory, analysis, whatever? No, I don't. Because what I am expecting is this to come right back up to here and potentially create another chop box. And if it doesn't, if it ends up breaking short and running, okay, great. Now we have other options. But for the moment, it's not what I'm expecting, especially with how price action is right now this morning. It's not moving very well. So can't expect for it just to keep going. But I do, if it does go short of the dev, we have these mini magnets down here, definitely a target. Other than that, there's nothing down there. So where's those mini magnets coming from? These are some old mini magnets too. Look how far back I have to go. I'm just trying to see if they're like a third bar sling or what they are. Okay, so they're nothing, but strong area. So we'll see. Might get a simplicity short under here. A little bit of a reset. I do like this level down here. Well, those mini magnets are not printing on my 10 tick. But you can see here, it's a flux. This is where the double mini magnets are. There's a wall there. There's a lot to tell me if it breaks short, that it's most likely going to run down to this area. It may hesitate at this 60 area because that's the first mini magnet in Paul on the 30 right here. But more than likely it'll come down and hit around 058. So it'll be about a 10-point move. But it's not something I'm really anticipating just because of the way price is moving right now. Yeah, exactly, Vegas. Do have some nice HD building on the 10 tick. But, you know, a little coil chop and some clusters there. So, see, now it's probably going to come down and test that area where I wanted my LRE initially. Because sometimes that'll, and you know, and if it gave, and actually if this gave, well, I don't like these double clusters, but a nice HD short with a mini magnet or a Lorex short right here off this bottom with HD, that'd be pretty nice. But that's exactly this right now where we are is exactly where I wanted my LRE to be. So that's what helps you too. Like if you can look forward of where you wanted your LRE, where you want a trade to happen, then that helps a lot because then you're ready, right? You don't have to hesitate. That's what I try to do a lot of the times. There we go. Now we closed a 50 tick bar up. Like I was saying, that's more of what I would expect to happen than it just continue down. Now, if we get a sniper short, that would be nice. Like a nice sniper Lorex or something right here with a mini magnet. Awesome, Vegas. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I just finished up my taxes the other day. So see, now we have this sniper short, HD short here. I would have preferred a mini magnet on it. It's a ton of HD. But came right up and tested that bottom there, that area, where I wanted a LRE. It's giving a sniper short. It's almost a winner. Man, it's already almost 9 a.m. Yeah, because all those PA fees, they add up. And those are all expenses. This is not financial or tax advice, but yep, they're fees. Really don't want price to keep going up because I don't see myself taking a trade up there. No, yeah, my pink lines, well, if you're talking about these dotted lines, those are my flux levels. I changed the color of my flux levels. I never liked the blue and red because can confuse it for ice, or like the red can confuse it for an eye block. So I always changed them to lighter pink and darker pink. Is that the one you're talking about? These pink dotted ones? Oh. Let me refresh mine to make sure it's right. Okay. Yeah, I just refreshed mine. Well, this little HD trade would not have worked, but like I said, I would have preferred a mini magnet on it. Also, the only way I'm looking for long, like I said earlier, is if it breaks above this 095-ish area and gives me something right in this 95 to 102, somewhere in there. Otherwise, I'd have to wait for this to keep running up for quite a bit. So that's why I didn't want it to go long, but it's looking like it wants to. I mean, we were pretty much just about at the low of the day. and at the -7 dev. But just because I know I only have about 15 to 20 minutes left on here, and price is probably not going to run all the way back up to this area. So, but we'll see. I'm on Eastern time. My computer, my charts, everything, Eastern time. Looks like a pretty slow, boring morning. What do we have going on for the rest of the week? Tomorrow we have unemployment claims and Philly Fed manufacturing pre-market. Some FOMC members speaking in the afternoon. Friday, we have a whole bunch of European and German high impact news. Not sure how that'll impact the market.
Double cluster NQ. Potential TX on NQ.
So I had that before set that way because I'm in Central time zone. So my computer was in Central and I set NinjaTrader to Eastern. You can do that. But what happened when I did that was my ice levels were off. And I could not figure out for the life of me. Apex couldn't figure it out. Nobody could figure out why my ice levels were not matching or were not right. And finally, like after months, I don't know why I tried it or what I did, what made me do it, but I was like, you know what? Let me set my computer time zone to match my NinjaTrader. And when I did that, it was correct. So I have no idea. Yeah. So ever since then, I just leave everything in Eastern. So we do have a little bit of a signal here of a push up on the 30 tick. So we hit this bottom, had a cluster, price came back down, left a Paul mini magnet to push up. Not sure if it'll be enough to get us through this mess here, but maybe. So maybe we can make our way back up to this deviation here. Not sure, but let's see. Where's my ATM? There we go. So if we could push up, like I said, above this area and take a trade in between here somewhere, I'll be open to that. But let's just see what happens. Hey, Fritz. So Yes, it can be used on 6E, but I don't know the settings to use as far as, you know, um, the bar sizing and all that stuff. That I want to know. So I do know, like, the main chart I wouldn't know, but the formula to pull up the larger view, like this 30 tick, is whatever your main one is. Like this is 10. You do it. What is it? It's the bar size times. Hold on 1 second. It's 8 times 2. I think it's the bar size times 2.5, and then to the nearest 10. But 6E works with 6 tick bar size. Okay, there we go. Richard right there. And then your 30 tick chart should be 20 ticks. There we go. Try that out and see. 6 tick bars, and then have a 20 tick chart as well for a bigger view. Okay. Oh, I tried ZN and UB. And yeah, couldn't do that. Man. Going from NQ to trying UB and ZN. Especially ZN. Holy jeez, that's makes ES look like a speed racer. Yeah, that's why I tried those markets, because of liquidity. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get filled no matter what. Sometimes in those ZN bars are thousands of orders. It's like, jeez. All right, let's see what happens here. We just made our way up to that level that I want to be above if I'm taking a trade. But we might get a little bit of a short here. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's pushing, trying to push through, looks like. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, for sure, Richard. That's me too. Win or loss, just let's make this quick. Yeah. All right. Give it a few minutes here, see if this thing will, what it's going to do at this area, if it's going to reject or what. No, she's mainly focused. Pretty much the whole ER now is mainly focused on Lorex trades, for the most part. I'll hop in there sometimes, and I was in there last week or the week before. It just gets hard for me to try to type and trade sometimes. So I jump in there, and then sometimes I forget. But yeah, they're pretty much all focused on Lorex's. Like they don't even have the simplicity charts anymore, except for NQ is still in there, I believe. But they took down all the like the YM simplicity chart and ES and all that. They just have the YM 30 and 10. DM, I mean, he'll still trade here and there, but man, he's just doing so well with Apex Trader funding. He's living life. So pretty much Lori took over the ER, and then Ron's in there as well. Well, this may be it for me today. A whole lot of nothing. Yeah, and it just makes it better for us. See you, Vegas. Have a good one. Yeah, Johnny, but all of it's still relevant though. That's the thing. Like there's exactly Richard. That's what I was about. That's what I was saying. It's all still relevant. There's not much really, and that's what I was saying earlier in the stream. Is that because Apex is based on orders, order flow, order prints. And I was relating that to Mark Douglas earlier because Mark Douglas says, he mentions how the only thing that moves the market is an imbalance of orders. And that's why Apex is pretty like evergreen. It's not going to, nothing really. I mean, you can find ways to improve, of course, but not much is going to change because we're just based on orders. We're not using indicators like moving averages and things like that. That, you got to find different strategies. It's just all based on orders. So, yeah, it's all. I mean, I'm sure if they find something they can improve on, they'll add it. But other than that, just repeat. Oh, okay. So she has been trying to take some simplicities. Yeah, she's always worried about her internet connection because it's so bad. at times that she just wants to be in and out pretty quick. Yeah, I can't be in there when everybody, literally the best time to trade from the open till around 10:30, 11 a.m. And when everybody's in the ER, that's like the one time that I can't be there. Like that's when my schedule does not allow me to be there. Yep, this is the only system I trade. That would be nice, Richard. I wouldn't be surprised if they did make that happen. I have no idea if that's in the works, but you know, I'm sure that it can happen. All right. Well, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day or my morning. I may or may not get to trade this afternoon. I have a meeting going on, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to call it a morning. It's 9:18. I don't see this doing anything enough to make me be like, yeah, I want that trade. So going to go ahead and call it a day with a big zero goose egg. Yeah, we'll see, Richard. Thanks, everybody, for joining, keeping me company on this boring morning. Hope y'all have a great day. Stay patient, and as always, trade well. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.